Watching news at Prime. Let's take you now to a different inquiry altogether, and it's to do with the South Gauteng Director of Public Prosecutions, Chauke, and that has agenda for the day. The former Northwest Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, Sello Maema, testifying again today. He is the first witness brought by Chauke's legal team. Newzroom Afrika's Nqobile Madlala following the proceedings for us, and she joins us now. Nqobile, good afternoon to you. The focus of today's testimony, tell us all about it.
Well, Xoli, it's been such a long day, and I suppose what we have seen is that there's been an unpacking of the racketeering charge in itself in terms of what constituted the prosecutors to go to the National Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions to ask for the approval, the authorization of the racketeering charge for them to be able to go to court. Now, they've taken us back again. Remember, we are in 2008 and 2009. This is where the cases had taken place. What we saw today is the unpacking of what they saw on the ground. One of those major issues that they highlighted was that in order for the racketeering charge to be considered, there needs to be a manager. And they looked at different crime cases where they said that this is where we saw Major General Boysen being actually a manager. According to Advocate Maema, he's saying that there is sort of a commitment to schedule these killings, to sort of have vehicles to go on scene, to be able to cordon off the scene once it was done, that some of them would put the guns on these scenes, and even for the mere fact that there was even a bag where they would put these guns that would be planted on the scene in itself shows that there was a commitment in terms of planning for what was taking place, that there was also a commitment for this plan to be perfectly executed, that people had different roles that they were playing for this plan to be executed. And so they identified various members of the Cato Manor unit as being the people that were part of the managerial position. And of course, at the top of it all, they're saying that Major General Boysen was the one that was leading this. This is mainly also because they even went as far as make Aya, who was supposed to be their manager, redundant so that they're able to speak directly to Major General Boysen. So the focus now is how did they then get the approval or not get the approval of the racketeering charge. Now, for the first time, Xoli, we are hearing Advocate Maema talking about Advocate Chauke. And remember, this entire inquiry is really about what was Advocate Chauke's decision-making and all of this. And he's saying that as the leader of the prosecutors that were sent to KwaZulu-Natal, he was the one that took the decision to ask Advocate Chauke to sign off a letter where Advocate Nuko, who was the DPP of KZN, was supposed to sign. He's saying that this letter of authorization would be sent then to the Deputy Director of National Public Prosecutions for them to give an approval for that racketeering charge so that they could go to court. However, when it got there, then they realized that it wasn't signed by Nuko and it needed to be signed by the DPP. But he's saying this was done because it was convenient for them to do this, because they were working in the South Gauteng offices, and it made it easier for them to communicate through the DPP. And of course, we are going to get more details in terms of what was the way forward from there.
Interesting testimony indeed, managing the crime scenes. This was the work of the Cato Manor hit squad. At least that was the allegation, and we remember those allegations dating back many years when this story was dominating headlines at that time. Thank you very much for the time being, Nqobile Madlala.